What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are back to work on the 2021 RR Fireblade. And as you can see, we have a lot of parts to finally install on this beautiful machine. Now, my older brother is a mechanical engineer and he custom made a billet aluminum shift lever for me for this Fireblade. Roll the footage. Here is my brother's workshop. He's a mechanical engineer, graduated from the university, and loves to use CAD software. He wanted to do something special for this Fireblade since it is such a beautiful bike. So we started off the design by simply looking at the shifters on my other bikes that were in the shop. AF1 Racing makes a billet shift lever, which I purchased for my RC4, which was a perfect starting ground for our billet shifter on the Fireblade. Here's my brother figuring out the geometry of the shift lever with tools you probably used in grade school. As you can see from these photos, the Fireblade shift lever is three-dimensional. That means it's on an X, Y, and Z axis. And now, here is 50+ hours worth of work in the CAD software from my brother. He had to make sure that the holes for the shift rod and where the shift lever was mounted to the frame were precise so they would function just like factory. He added 2 threaded holes into the billet machining for GP shift and standard shifting. Now you might be wondering how he was able to duplicate the exact hole size. Well, that's where he used a digital caliper. On his desk, you can see the digital caliper which he used for all of the inner dimensions, which he got from the old part, as you can see on his desk, and transferred it directly to the CAD software. And just because he's that cool, he sketched out and added the CJ Media logo to the front of the billet aluminum. And for the grip aspect of the lever, he designed a very tiny pyramid and then wrapped that section of the shifter in those tiny little pyramids for maximum grip. Now that my brother was done designing the shift lever for the Fireblade, it was time to get it CNC machined out of solid billet aluminum. And to get this done, I worked with the company Fictive. They specialize in machining and CNC, and they can do almost any material you want. They had billet aluminum as an option, so we sent the CAD drawings off to Fictive, they approved them, and then $840 later, we have our beautiful part. And now I understand why specialized CNC parts cost so much. Before they shipped it to me, they sent over post-production photos. Man, the big bro killed it on this design. Well, we opened up some packages and we just installed some final touches that were much needed on this RRR, including some custom made silver and black emblems that are the exact size as OEM. They look great on that tank. I think I accidentally ordered 2 packages, but this one will be for the next RRR. Now we got a sweet key tag along with some CBR lettering, and we went with 2 different style tank protectors, this more rubber and rigidy one and a carbon one. I like the carbon look better, so we slapped this one on the tank. I think this one's giving me too much Gixxer vibes. Then we finally removed that ram mount accessory in the top of the triple and those GoPro mounts that were zip tied onto the triple. And last but not least, we fully installed this shifter so it is nice and tight on the frame and it shifts perfectly. Also, something pretty cool that you guys might have noticed, my brother drew out this logo and put it in the CAD design for this shifter that's engraved on this billet. Now that brings me to the dreaded part of this video. In the very last RRR Fireblade video, you guys saw that we tried to bleed the rear brake and we failed. So we still have no rear brake. It's just completely flat. Straight fluid comes out of this underslung caliper, but you can hear air through this master cylinder. And this thing is super squishy. So we are gonna break out our pneumatic bleeder. I picked up a couple syringes and hopefully solve our issue. Let's give this a shot. Hopefully get those brakes right. Man, I've been wanting to try this for forever. Let's add some color to this titanium. Well, our first attempt at making that titanium blue went all right. Right now the titanium is cooling off, so let's discuss our brakes because they're all fixed. We finally have a brake pedal in the rear. I had to take off this underslung caliper, hang it up so that the bleed nipple right here was at the highest point with gravity. Then we filled up our reservoir, which is behind the subframe, and bled the rear brake, and now it's all fixed. We did the front brakes because this lever felt a little squishy to me originally, but now it is nice and tight. I'm pretty sure my brake issue in the rear was that I just didn't have that caliper hung up high enough. Instead of your standard DOT4, we're using this Torque Extreme RT700 brake fluid for this RRR Fireblade. Now let's move outside, see how the exhaust is doing. The pipe is cooling off. It is still pretty hot, but the splotches on this, the white splotches, is where I got too hot on that titanium. The heat colors of titanium are silver, then gold, then purple, then blue, and then this white. So if you hold the flame in an area for too long, in about a couple seconds, it will turn into this white splotch. Now another mistake is I should have cleaned this titanium before I heated it up. All the impurities in the titanium are coming through when you heat it up. But this backside turned out real nice because I was super even with the flame all the way to the top and bottom. Just like on this side too, you can kind of see a little bit of that purple in there because I didn't want to get it too hot. But the nice thing about this is it doesn't look very good right now, but I can correct it and start all over with a little bit of WD-40 and a Scotch-Brite pad. Well, I'll admit, it is a lot harder than it looks. We slipped the Armitrix exhaust just onto the pipe for now just to see how it would look. From a distance, it doesn't look bad, but I think the ultimate solution is to just go out in the country and pin this thing. That ultimately should get that color nice and even with the heat from the exhaust. But on the bright side, it does add a nice blue texture to the rest of the bike instead of that solid stainless steel looking pipe. Now that our brake system is complete, we can finally finish the fairings. A Motopart Fairings sent me out the final missing piece of this fairing kit, the small section that sits right behind the seat. And they also sent me a front fairing replacement due to there being a little bit of damage when I received the front fairing. Right here you can see a few blemishes in the paint. It is very small, but I think we're gonna actually use this as a wall art piece because I love the color of this fairing kit. And before we open those fairings, I wanted to show you guys how the registration works on this Fireblade. So here in the US, we have a month and a year that registration expires on our plates. So April 24 is already expired. So what I do is I have to pay $33.78, and that covers the next 2 years of registration, and they give me this little sticker that I then place over top the 24 on my license plate. Yeah, it's gonna clash with the colors. I wish it was white. Now, in case someone wanted to steal your registration sticker, what you would do is you take a razor blade and you'd make lines from left to right all the way down through it, and then from right to left throughout the whole thing. So that way it makes it virtually impossible for them to take that sticker off in one piece and place it on their plate. So there you go. There's a little bit of information on how the registration works with all these bikes. All right, let's open these up from a Motopart. Finally, fully install our Armitrix exhaust. And last but not least, fully install our beautiful tappezzeria seats. Yes, I know it doesn't match, unfortunately. Well, that brings this Fireblade rebuild to a conclusion, but we have a price reveal for you guys. As you guys know, we purchased this bike wrecked with fees and all for $16,646.60. And then from there, we spent a majority of the cost on OEM Honda parts from Partzilla. And then we had a few miscellaneous items from eBay, which totaled everything out to be $19,977.30. So just about 20 grand for this clean title 2021 CBR1000RR-R Fireblade SP. And these bikes are limited production, and this is number 293. As you can see, that is the last numbers in the VIN. I read some forums online on the production limit on these 2021 Fireblades, and I think it's around 300 to 400 2021 models in the world. Now, as you guys know, this piece does not match the rest of the fairings, so I already have an appointment this week for a body shop to color match this new piece, and I'm gonna give them this other piece that came with the fairing kit so they can color match it perfectly. This Fireblade is a push to start, which is so cool as I have never had a bike like this before. And I'm pulling this up so you guys can see the bike has 4,824 miles on the odometer. And then to turn the key off, you twist this knob forward, and that shuts the bike off. I also forgot to mention the Rizoma mirrors and the Rizoma turn signal kit, which was around 500 bucks for both. Other than the color matched piece, which is gonna cost me a couple $100 at a local body shop, this Fireblade is 100% complete. To God be the glory for this build. We will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.